Today is the third Sunday of Easter. And today we are presented with the story of these two friends, Cleopas and his friend, moving away from the center of this entire story about Jesus Christ and going on a journey to another place where they can cool off. They are done with these stories. They don't want to hear it again. And it was there that Jesus Christ met them. Perhaps this is one of my best Easter stories. Jesus appearing to them in the midst of their despair. And God has always done this. God comes to humanity, comes to us at our points of need. These two men followed Christ. They had high hopes. Their hopes were dashed when Jesus was crucified. They thought as they recounted that he would be the one to save them, to save their nations from their enemies. And now what has happened? He was crucified by our rulers. And not just that he was crucified, but 3 days have passed. And now some women came to tell us that he has risen. So as they were trying to fathom this challenge of being crucified, the second story is even worse than this first, the story of the resurrection. I so much loved what happened. Jesus coming, they didn't recognize him. And this has always been the case in most of the resurrection appearances. Something prevents the people from recognizing that it's Jesus. And along the line, he does something and then they acknowledge and recognize him. And there's another aspect of the appearance. The people become missionaries, going to tell others that they have encountered the risen Lord. So Jesus appeared to them and asked them, what is this thing that you are discussing? Let us be honest. Would you, if you are Cleopas or his friend, by the way, the name of the friend is not mentioned, so that could as well be you. Put your name there. So if you are Cleopas and his friend, and a total stranger comes to ask what you are discussing, how free, how ready will you be to share with the person? But this shows that it's never enough for us to share our stories with Christ. They narrated everything. They were detailed. But in narrating their own story, listening to themselves, telling the story, that was also a process of healing for them. A process of redirection. A process of being corrected. And Jesus took his time. This could as well be a model of spiritual direction. When you express yourself, express how you feel, then the director, who principally is the Holy Spirit, then guides you knocks off some of the wrong notions we have, builds on what we have and what we have shared. And then we become wiser, we become enriched, we become transformed. And that is what happened. But this is also a process of hope, because hope begins from where there is despair, from where we have lost everything, where we think that there is no remedy. And that is when Jesus comes into our history. The same thing that happens with the incarnation of God. Man was totally defeated by sin and death, and Jesus was born. The same thing that happened here. So he took his time to correct them, to guide them. And then they got to where they were going, 7 miles away from Jerusalem. They invited Jesus to stay with them. They wanted to share not just the experience, but their meal, their life, their space with Jesus. And he took the bread, broke it, blessed and broke it. The same thing he had done with them severally in the course of his public ministry. And they recognized him in the breaking of bread. The breaking of the bread is another name for the Eucharist. He celebrated the Eucharist with them. The first Eucharist after rising from the dead. We celebrate the Eucharist every day. Do we truly acknowledge that Jesus is present in the Eucharist? Do we believe in the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist? And just like these men who told Jesus it's already late to continue on this journey, and after they recognized him, they went back to proclaim what they had seen, to share the encounter with others. The same thing that happens at the end of every Eucharistic celebration, every Mass. The priest dismisses us, sends us, that Jesus sends us on mission. Go and announce the good news of the Lord. Go in peace. Go and love and serve one another. Our mission begins then. No one encounters Jesus and remains the same. They encountered him in the breaking of bread. We encounter him in every Eucharistic celebration, in the breaking of bread. And that should bring transformation. That should dispel fears. That should encourage us. That should guide and lead us into this missionary activity. This is what we are called to do today. This is the mission we are being sent. And this is what we celebrate this third Sunday of Easter. In the first reading, like I said, the encounter with the risen Lord transforms, dispels fears. So in the first reading, we see the proclamation of Peter. Before the resurrection, Peter and the other disciples were afraid, hid themselves. But after the resurrection, something happened. There was a transformation that he could stand before the public and address them. This is our mission as Christians, to continue propagating this good news, making it known to others. Because, as St. Paul tells us, our ransom was paid with a high price. Your ransom was paid in the precious blood of a lamb without spot or stain, namely Christ. Such should make us not to keep quiet. Such should make us to proclaim it, to sing it, to make it known. So your mission begins now. Not just in word, but also the transformation that happens by our lives will bear witness. People should see and ask questions. What has happened? What has changed? And then the answer would be, we have been bought by with the precious blood of the Lamb. We have been transformed. We have encountered the risen Lord, and our lives can never be the same again. May this celebration transform us and bring us life eternal. Bring us joy, and may it lead us to share the joy with others.